What's going on, everybody? It's Weapon X here, coming at you again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be doing a review of the brand new movie that just came out, Spiral from the Book of Saw, or Spiral Saw, whatever you want to call it. But the brand new movie starring Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, and I guess this is supposed to be like a reboot, sort of sorts of the movie. Of Saw, and I just want to say that like I've seen pretty much every other Saw movie up to this point. I'm a pretty big Saw fan. Obviously, like the first three are probably the best, and then after that, it's just like a really bad drama. But anyways, just saying that going off of my previous knowledge of Saw and going into this movie, there were certain things that I liked about it. There were certain things I didn't like about it, but this is also going to be a non-spoiler review. So if you just want to hear my thoughts on the movie, don't worry about spoilers. I'm not going to spoil it if you're planning out on going to see the movie. So just putting that right at the front. But yeah, let's just go ahead and hop into this. So the things that I liked about the movie was Chris Rock. Chris Rock, I thought he was good. At certain parts, the acting was a little, but for the most part, he's the lead protagonist of the movie, and he pretty much carries the film, and I think he does a pretty good job. There's like some emotional moments in there that I think he does all right in. But yeah, for the most part, he's a good like protagonist to follow as you like figure out, you know, oh, who's the killer and stuff. Samuel L. Jackson. I thought Samuel L. Jackson was pretty cool while he's in here. I will say he's very underutilized. Like he's just not in that many like scenes. So I think that they kind of like had a wasted opportunity there. And then of course it's a Saw movie. So I guess like the biggest thing that people go to these Saw movies for are the traps. And I want to say like a few of the traps are like pretty good. They're pretty cool traps. I did like that. Like the very first trap at the beginning of the movie has such a strong opening. Like you watch that first part and you're like, okay, now I'm in for it. But like kind of after that, the movie just sort of starts to fall off. But another thing that I did like about the movie though was the overall concept. And so not getting into spoilers, but the overall concept is that there's a bunch of bad cops. And so there's someone out there targeting the bad cops, killing them and things like that, trapping them. And so Chris Rock is on the police force and he's trying to figure out, you know, who the killer is. And he goes down like this rabbit hole of trying to figure out who it is while like all the cops around him are dropping like flies pretty much. And so like the overall concept of it, I think is good. Like, you know, you lend yourself into like this kind of like Seven situation, like this mystery, like crime drama movie. And I thought that was a good concept. However, the execution was nowhere near as good as it could have been. I felt like for the actors that they had, for the overall ideas that they had, this movie could have been so much more. But getting onto the things that I didn't like about the movie, things that rubbed me the wrong way, is that other than Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson and like maybe one other actor, the acting is bad. Like the acting is not good. I've never seen a lot of these other actors. I'm unfamiliar if they've been in like any other movies. I haven't seen them, but the acting is really not good. Like it just seems like some film school type stuff. And then the writing, I don't know who wrote the movie. I'm gonna have to double check that. But whoever wrote the movie, the dialogue is also really bad. So bad acting, bad writing, that leads itself into a pretty nasty corner. I think everyone can agree with that. Because like there are good moments with like good lines in there that people deliver. And like those are like when they're good, they're good. But when they're not, they're really bad. It feels like a lot of the time when they don't know what to say in certain sentences, there's just an over amount of like curse words in there. And not that I have any problem with like cursing in movies. Obviously, I curse myself sometimes. But the thing is, it just feels like childish, like immature, where it's just like, F you, F this, are you effing kidding me? Like, what the F? And I'm like, okay, chill. Like, I get it. Like, can you say anything like a little more meaningful? Or stuff like that. It feels really weird and weak as combined with like the bad acting in there. It doesn't really hit right. And then as far as like the story goes, the story, like I said, has a really strong concept, but the execution just isn't there. So as far as like story, dialogue, writing goes, it's all like the acting and the writing is bad. The story is like okay at best. The cinematography, it has like moments in there where they do like these really cool shots and you're like, wow, like that's actually really interesting to look at. And then they go back to like the same kind of shots of like people that they do like the entire movie. It feels like somebody hopped out of film school and like they only learned one shot and they just ran with it through the whole movie. So like, that definitely kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's just visually, it's not the most interesting. And then going off of like pure critiques of like film wise, just like film fundamentals, there's no Billy the puppet in this movie. Like we get like a new puppet instead. It's like this pig, like this cop pig puppet kind of thing. And like, yeah, I guess it works for the movie, but you know, like I'm a big fan of Saw and like Billy the puppet, he's the OG, you know, I like Billy the puppet. And the whole like anti-cop thing that the movie has going on, it's like, I get it, I do, you know, it's a little political, but not like to the like overly done. Like it has a point and a message that it's trying to say, and I get it, but I just feel like maybe it wasn't done as well as it could have been, or like they were trying to, like they push the message a little like hard in a lot of places where it's like, you know, like I got it like the last like 20 times you mentioned it, you know, like trust me, I get what you're trying to say. So like it's just overdone on that part. As far as the traps, without spoiling anything, there's some really cool traps in here. Like a couple of them I thought were like really neat. I'm like, yeah, that's a Saw trap right there. But my problem with most of them is that like the rest of them just feel kind of generic, and there's also like no fairness in them at all. Like if you're familiar with any of the other Saw movies, you know that like he gives you a chance, you know, like, yeah, you gotta do some messed up things. Like, yeah, it's probably gonna like mess your body up, but you have a solid chance. More than half of the traps in this movie, there is no chance. Like, even when one guy does the trap correctly, he still dies. So it's like, come on, bro. Like that's like, there's no real like fun in that, in my opinion. And a lot of it tries to just like mimic the same sort of like style and tone of the original, and I'm all cool with that, you know, like you want to do some of the crazy like shaky camera edits, the like whole glitchy thing, like that's cool with me, like that's Saw at its core. But the way they do it just feels really like, it feels a little too modern and like a little too clean, because the whole thing about the other Saw movies is like they were like gritty and like dark and like, you know, that they had that kind of vibe. It's like if you took like the nicest things in 4K and then just slapped like a bad music video edit of that stuff over it. That's what it looks like to me, at least. So like they try and do homages to the original, but it feels weird. It feels way too cleanly, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. So yeah, like overall, it's like the things that they did right, I really liked, but there's just so much bad about this movie. The story is not good. The acting's bad. The writing is awful. And like the twist, because you know, there's always a Saw twist. It's just, it feels a little predictable, at least to me. I don't know. Maybe other people didn't see it coming, but like I kind of saw it coming a mile away. And usually I'm kind of stupid when it comes to twists. Like I usually don't see these things coming, but this one I was like, yeah, like as soon as it happened, I was like, yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Like it didn't really, you know, blow me away or anything, especially like when you try and hold this movie up. Like I know I don't really want to compare movies, but if you take this movie and you take the first Saw movie, it's not even close. Like it's really not. This just feels like a bad mimicry of that with a cool concept and bad execution. So I mean, overall, if I had to give the movie a score out of 10, I think I would honestly just give it like, it's a 5. It's a 5 out of 10. It's honestly, no, I think I gotta give it like a 4. Maybe a 5 at best. And that kind of pains me because I was really looking forward to this movie when they first announced it. I was like, damn, Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, Saw, like detective movie? Like count me in. That sounds like heat. On paper, that sounds like it's gonna be heat. But no, they ultimately, you know, kind of fumble the ball big time. And you know, no spoilers, but like I thought the ending was just abysmally bad. Like the ending was terribly bad. I was like, that's it? Like there's like, that's it. That's how we're gonna end this. Like, okay. So yeah, other than that, like, I mean, that's pretty much my thoughts on the movie. But yeah, you guys, if you enjoy these like movie reviews, I'm always down to do some movie reviews for you guys, because there's a lot of cool like horror movies and stuff like out there that I want to check out. And if you guys are like interested to hear my thoughts on it, you know, if y'all care, that would be awesome. I would love to do more like of these types of videos in the future. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go play some Dead by Daylight, play some Pig, and kind of cleanse my palate with you know, some better memories of Saw. But yeah, you guys, that's gonna do it for this one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you.